I picked up an M3 MacBook Air at the start of April 2024, shortly after it was announced, so I've now been using it for around 6 months. In this video, I want to share my experience with this laptop for general use and as a content creator. This is probably one of my most useful and favourite tech products that I've ever used. So let's get into it. Let's start with a bit of context. Before I got the MacBook Air, I had been using a work-owned M1 Pro MacBook Pro to create my YouTube videos. However, I always knew I wanted a device of my own, and I had a few key criteria I needed from it. Firstly, I wanted to stick with Apple Silicon, because I had really enjoyed my experience with the MacBook Pro in terms of the power and efficiency, but the new device also had to be powerful enough to let me edit my videos on the go as well as at home. I also needed it to be portable enough for me to take it anywhere without being too noticeably heavy in a backpack, and a long battery life was essential. On paper, the new M3 MacBook Air was the obvious choice. So when I noticed the 16GB of RAM and 512GB of storage option in the Starlight colour for £100 off on Amazon, it seemed like the ideal time to pick one up. When I first got the Air, my immediate reaction was to compare it to the M1 Pro MacBook Pro, as I'd been using that laptop for about 18 months at that point and mainly loving the experience. There were a few things I quickly noticed about the Air. Firstly, the 13.6-inch 60Hz IPS display couldn't match the contrast, smoothness and general quality of the 16-inch 120Hz mini LED display on the MacBook Pro. Bear in mind, this was comparing the two laptops side by side. However, if you're not comparing the Air alongside a MacBook Pro, then the screen is honestly excellent on this laptop. It provides accurate colours, is super sharp, and gets bright enough for 90% of the situations that I find myself in. I found that I've not missed the high refresh rate of the Pro because the majority of things I do on the laptop don't actually take advantage of this. The only time you'll notice a difference is in scrolling and sometimes in the smoothness of animations, but even with these actions, I rarely consciously notice any issues with the smoothness. For color-dependent tasks such as video and photo editing, the display is great, although it's obviously a substantially smaller screen, which can sometimes feel a bit cramped when compared to the 16-inch Pro, especially in software such as DaVinci Resolve or Lightroom. Watching content on the Air is definitely not the same experience as when you're using the Pro, but that's mainly due to the class-leading speaker system on the 16-inch Pro, rather than the screens. And that brings us on to the second difference I noticed between the two laptops. There is a clear and obvious difference in the quality of the sound you get from both of these laptops. With the Pro, the sound is full and catches all the nuanced low-end and audio content. This is not saying that the MacBook Air's speakers are bad. In fact, I personally think they're very good considering the size of the body and the fact the audio is effectively bounced off the bottom of the screen. But the MacBook Pro's speakers are easily the best I've ever heard in a laptop. Overall though, if you weren't comparing the MacBook Air's speakers to the exceptional Pro speakers, then they get loud enough without distorting and provide good, clear audio for the class of device, which is all I, and probably most of you, really need. Thirdly, there was a clear difference between the port selection on both these laptops, with the MacBook Pro having a good variety of ports, whereas the MacBook Air only has two USB-C ports plus a 3.5mm headphone jack and a MagSafe port. I tend to still use the USB-C ports for charging, just because it saves me taking another cable whenever I'm traveling somewhere with the Air. However, it's nice to still have the option of MagSafe, particularly if you're using both the USB-C ports but are running low on battery. My main gripe about the ports is the placement of them. I think the USB-C ports would be more useful if there was one on each side, as there are often times when it would just be more convenient to plug in something on the other side, but I'm unable to. The lack of ports was one of the main things that kept me from buying an Air for quite a long time, as I'd frequently use all of the ports on the MacBook Pro for connecting up to multiple displays while having an external SSD connected and pulling files from an SD card while using the built-in SD card reader. While you can use a dongle like this one when you're out and about, when you're at your home setup, fortunately there are some great USB-C docks out there that allow you to mount the MacBook Air out of the way and also give you a load of extra useful connectivity. I've collaborated with a company called Minisopuru, and they sent me one of their laptop docks. For full transparency, this video isn't sponsored and no money changed hands, but they did send me this dock for free to test out, and it solves so many of the issues I've had with connectivity on the Air. On the front, it provides two 10GB per second USB-C ports, as well as both SD and micro SD card readers. On the back, you get a USB-C port for up to 100 watts of power pass-through, as well as an HDMI, 1GB per second Ethernet port, and two 5GB per second USB-A ports. As well as all this, you get a hidden SSD enclosure under the dock, which means you can easily expand the storage of your MacBook Air. I've really enjoyed using this dock, and it's made the process of transferring files and just generally connecting things to my MacBook Air so much much easier. The only downside for me is that you can only output a display via the HDMI port on the dock, so none of the USB-C ports work as a display out, meaning you have to use the second USB-C port on the MacBook Air for your second display. However, this hasn't been a problem for me in real use, but I thought it was worth mentioning. If you want to pick this up, then Minisopuru have kindly provided a limited time discount code so you can get some money off it, and I'll leave that and the link to this down below. Next, portability was probably the main factor that drove me to choose the Air. Having used the 16-inch Pro for nearly 2 years now, I've come to the conclusion that it's just not really that portable, with it being very heavy at 2.1 kilograms or 4.7 pounds, and taking up a huge amount of space in any bag. The Air, on the other hand, is 1.24 kilograms or 2.7 pounds, so around 41% lighter. And this is extremely noticeable when you're carrying it in a bag, as it doesn't feel like it adds a lot of weight. And it doesn't take up nearly as much space, with it being substantially thinner and smaller than the Pro. This actually encourages me to take it on shorter day trips where I wouldn't have even considered taking the Pro, simply because it doesn't add much weight. This means I can get a quick hour of editing or other YouTube related work done wherever I am. Alongside this is the fact I can use this laptop with 2 external displays, which was curiously absent as a feature on the M1 and M2 Airs. In my office, I have a dual monitor setup, which comes in very useful when scripting, researching, and photo and video editing. The fact I can use the M3 Air with both my displays was an essential feature for me. One thing to note here though is that it's somewhat kneecapped, as you can only do this when the Air's lid is closed, meaning you can't use the trackpad or keyboard when using 2 external displays. However, I use my Logitech MX keys and MX Master 3 mouse when I connect it up to my monitors, which makes this a complete non-issue for me. Aside from the portability, I also really like the design of the M3 Air, which remains unchanged from the M2 Air. I particularly like the relatively thin bezels around the screen and the uniform thickness of the body. The notch doesn't seem to bother me at all, and I've found that I tend to forget it's even there. I went for the Starlight version as I thought it would be better for hiding fingerprints than some of the other colours, and this seems to be true, with the exception of the glossy Apple logo. I also just quite like this colour. It feels like halfway between gold and silver, and it looks different depending on the lighting. In benchmarks, the MacBook Air performs better than the M1 Pro MacBook Pro in single core performance, but is definitely weaker in multi-core and GPU performance due to it having 4 versus the 8 CPU cores of the M1 Pro MacBook Pro and 10 GPU cores as opposed to the 16 of the Pro. This was to be expected, but what really matters is how it performs in real-world use. The majority of people using a MacBook Air will likely be using it for fairly light tasks, which happen very quickly on this laptop. It's super quick at opening apps and works really well for tasks like web browsing, dealing with emails, scripting for YouTube, and watching video content. Where I was surprised though is how well it performs in more CPU and GPU heavy tasks, which is what I was really interested in, as probably about 80% of the tasks I do on this laptop involve photo or video editing. I've not experienced any real slowdown or difference in using this in Lightroom, even when doing heavier tasks like AI noise reduction. The same goes for video editing in DaVinci Resolve for the most part. Editing on the timeline is smooth as butter, even with 4K 60fps 10-bit footage. The only place in Resolve where I see a bit of a difference is in Fusion, which is basically the visual effects editor within Resolve. When I add a variety of effects to a clip, it can slow down a bit, but it's not an issue as long as you turn on the Smart Render Cache setting for the timeline, which pre-renders clips so they play back smoothly. The fact you're getting this kind of performance from an ultra-portable laptop without a fan is incredible compared to the performance we would get even a few years ago. For me, this makes the MacBook Air the perfect on-the-go editing machine. In terms of heat dissipation, the only real time I feel the laptop getting hot is when I'm rendering out a video in Resolve. When I'm doing this, the body does get hot to the touch, but the renders are still very fast for such a small fanless laptop. You would obviously get more sustained performance out of the Air if it had a fan, but you'd likely have to sacrifice some of the amazing portability to achieve that. Plus, I've never found myself really wanting for more power, perhaps apart from when I'm doing something fairly heavy in Fusion. Another thing I've not found myself wanting more of is battery life. The battery on the Air is truly excellent. The Air will quite easily last a few days if you're doing basic tasks like browsing the internet, answering emails, or streaming video. When I'm doing heavier tasks like photo or video editing, the battery life on the M3 Air does tend to run down substantially quicker, but still lasts long enough for an extended editing session for most of the day, which is ridiculously useful if you're traveling on a long plane journey, for example. Finally, let's talk about price. The Air that I have retails for £1,500, but I managed to pick it up for £1,400, and I've seen it on sale since then for £1,350. However, this version of the Air can now be found refurbished from Apple directly for £1,269, which I think is a cracking deal. Refurbished Macs from Apple are, for all intents and purposes, brand new laptops, as they have a new battery fitted and Apple fix anything that isn't working properly, so that may be a better option for you if you're keen to buy one of these. On the face of it, this may seem like a lot of money. However, when I take a step back and realise the value I've got from my Air in the last 6 months alone, I'd say it's 100% worth it. It's enabled me to create videos from start to finish, and it powers through more basic tasks super easily. Plus, it can do all this basically anywhere because it doesn't sacrifice power to achieve its excellent portability. So fundamentally, the M3 MacBook Air after 6 months has been one of my favourite products I've ever used. The portability tied with the powerful M3 chip and great battery life make it a joy to use when I'm creating content like this. I think if you're thinking about getting one of these for fairly basic tasks such as web browsing, streaming content, or responding to emails, then the base model will likely be enough. However, if you're a medium to heavy task user like me, then I'd recommend going for the 16GB of RAM and 512GB of storage model because it provides that extra bit of future-proofing and headroom for multitasking. But what do you think? Would you buy one of these? Let me know down in the comments below. If you're interested in picking up the Air, then I've linked it new in the description below, but I'd honestly encourage you to wait until it's available refurbished directly from Apple, as you'll basically get a brand new product for less money. And if you already own one of these, then I definitely recommend picking up the Minisopuru dock via the link in the description, as it makes the working from home experience so much better. Otherwise, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.